Yo guys, CF here, welcome back to a brand new video. Hopefully you're all doing well. Like I said in the last video, it's the end of the Premier League season, thank God. Thank God. Am I already missing it? Nah, not really, but give me 2 weeks. Come back in 2 weeks and I'll tell you if I'm missing it or not. Definitely not missing the Chelsea of this season, the most recent season. No way, no way. But today we've got a video that I've been actually wanted to do for a while now, but I was waiting till the end of the season so I can chuck out a couple videos. I am going to give you my top 5 most likely DM targets Chelsea should be going for this summer. Literally, the window opens not tomorrow because tomorrow's the 31st of May. The window opens on the 1st of June, June. So not long, 2 days pretty much until the window opens, transfer window, summer window. And like I said, I'm going to give you all my top 5 favourites for the DM role in order from worst to best, if you know what I mean. Basically, like I did, if you guys saw my top 5 for the managers, for Chelsea managers. That's basically what I'm doing for today's video, so yeah. But before we get into the video, please like, subscribe, and the bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a video. Also, first link in the description is my second channel, so go and check that out. I've not been uploading on there. I think the last time I uploaded was like 35, 40 days ago, around that. So I apologise on that behalf if you do follow the channel, but I will be uploading on there quite soon. That just gaming stuff in general and stuff like that, it's just been kind of dry as of late, so yeah, I apologise on that behalf. But yeah, go subscribe to it. Videos will be coming soon on it, so yeah. Let's get straight into the video then. So like in my last top 5, I gave you an honourable mention before I gave you my top 5 for, obviously, the favourites. So my honourable mention I'll be giving you guys for my DM position. By the way, the reason why I'm doing my top 5 is because we really need a DM. There will be a striker one coming soon, like literally probably in the next week, if that. So, you know, beware for that as well. But I'm not going to do goalkeeper because, you know, there's not really much to go off of goalkeeper. So I'm only going to do DM and striker. But yeah. So the honourable mention I'll be giving to you guys first up is Declan Rice. Now, you're probably all wondering, why have you put Declan Rice in honourable mentions, not even in your top 5? Now, the reason why I put Declan Rice in my honourable mentions is because how unlikely this transfer is going to be. This is pretty much non-existent now. If you asked me 2 years ago, a year ago, if I thought Declan Rice would come to Chelsea, I would have said, yes, definitely, he would have came to Chelsea. But it seems like everything around Rice to Chelsea has gone very, very quiet. Very quiet. It seems like it's pretty much not going to happen. Obviously, he's on Arsenal and Bayern Munich's radar. I think Bayern Munich are actually the favourites to get him now. Thomas Tuchel working his magic, like usual. But yeah, if he was even a small chance of happening, like this transfer happening, I would have put him in the first place. I would have, because I believe Declan Rice is that good. But it seems like this transfer just isn't going to happen in the slightest. I don't think it's, I'll be brutally honest with you, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't think it's ever going to happen. You know, West Ham have been throwing around price. The times we've been after him, West Ham have been saying, no, you have to offer us 100 million. You know, each time, even when he's not got much, you know, even 3 years down the line after we've been trying to get him, they keep demanding 100 million. And I don't blame Chelsea for not going for him because he's not a £100 million player. He's a 70 million, he's that good, but not 100. So I don't blame Chelsea for not going for him. Like I said, if there was even a small chance of this happening, I think he would be first or second. But this just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Like I've already said, it's looking like he's going to go to Bayern Munich. So yeah, that's why Declan Rice has been my honourable mentions. Another player I want to put in my honourable mentions, but isn't actually on the list, but I just want to give him a mention. Palhinha from Fulham. I've literally just come across this at the top of my head. He's a great DM. He's been excellent for Fulham this season. He won't be a lot of money either. Maybe you're looking at about 40-50 million, but he sweeps up. I think he's made the most tackles completed in the Premier League this season, if I'm not mistaken. He's up there though. So, you know, fair play to him. He'd be an honourable mention for me as well. But, yeah, let's get straight into the top 5. So, starting off in 5th place, we're going to go with a player who some of you may not even, know. But I'm going to give it to you guys right now. So, in 5th place, I've gone with Khephren Thuram. If you know Marcus Thuram, is his younger brother. Like I said, I think it's Khephren Thuram. I don't know. Sorry if I mispronounced it or something. But he played for LOSC Lille in League 1, League 1, if you want to say, he's made a breakthrough this season. He has. Haven't watched Lille, I'll be honest. But I've seen a couple clips about him and stuff like that. And he looks like a very, very, very solid player. Very good player. He's tall. Physically, he's strong, like I said. But he is in League 1, which a lot of people like to say is a very, very weak league. No offence, it is a very weak league. But at such a young age, 22 years old, he's been quite good for them. He's been quite a standout. He's a DM. He can do centre mid. He's played centre mid a couple games for their season this season, I've checked. In 35 appearances in the league, we're going off this season when I bring out the stats, by the way. In 35 appearances in the league, he's got 2 goals and 4 assists. So, for somebody who majority of the time plays as a DM, he's quite good. He makes 1.5 tackles per 90, around 1.5. So you're looking sometimes maybe 1 or 2 tackles per 90. That's from what the stats say. Successful tackles per 90. Sorry, not just tackles in general. Well, I think that's it. That's what I've researched. So if I'm mistaken on that, then let me know. But he would be available for around 40 to 50 million. Like I said, I think, now I'm thinking about it, maybe Palhinha would be higher than Khephren Thuram, simply because Thuram has literally pretty much only just broke through this season, in a weak league. So he could come to Chelsea and it could completely flop. 40 to 50 million as well is quite a big price tag. So, make of that of what you will. But there's no doubt about it, he definitely has a bright future ahead of him. I just don't know if he's that proper DM that we need. I don't know if he would suit the way Klopp plays. Klopp likes very, very likes intense players who add intensity to the game. And I don't think, watching clips, I don't think Thuram really adds that much. But yeah, he's definitely an option there for Chelsea if we needed to. So yeah. Let's move on to number 4. So heading into number 4, we move on to a player who I've never been a big fan of, but out of all the available players that we can possibly go for, I reckon he's high up there, but he's also one of the most expensive ones out there. So in number 4, we have Frankie de Jong, obviously the player who plays for Barcelona in La Liga. Barcelona obviously won the league, I think by about 10 points, which is surprising because I think they're an average side. If you know me, I don't like Barcelona whatsoever. Don't like the team. Never liked the club. There's already, a lot of rumours going about that. Apparently they're trying to steal some of our signings again this summer because obviously last summer every player we was going for, they was going for. Dodgy. And then that Gerard Romano, whatever his name is, Gerard Romero, trying to be Fabrizio Romano, open his mouth, talking too much, idiot. But yeah, Frankie de Jong has been a standout player for Barcelona this season. I've seen a couple Barcelona matches, not watched it fully, but I've seen a couple, and he's been in majority of them. When I watch Frankie de Jong, I don't think he's a natural DM. I generally watch him, and I don't think he's a natural DM. I think he's just a centre mid. He's more of a box to box midfielder like Kante. A lot of people mistaken Kante for being a DM. A lot of them say he can do the DM role, or he is a DM. Kante, a DM. He's a box to box. He's someone who just sweeps across the whole pitch. Likes to go forward with the ball. And Frankie de Jong reminds me of that in a way as well. This season, he's played 32 matches, 2 goals, 4 assists, the same as Thuram, apart from he's played 3 less games. He is actually, on this list I've got of players, Frankie de Jong's actually one of the older ones. 26 years old, he makes 1.5 tackles per 90. Could be successful, just could be tackles, I don't know. I got this off an app. So like I already said with the Thuram one, let me know in the comments down below if that's wrong or not. I don't know if it is, but 1.5 tackles per 90. Could be successful, could be not. You're looking at around 50 to 70 million for Frankie de Jong. Again, he's one of the most expensive ones on the list. And for a player who, in my opinion, I think he would get completely bullied in the Premier League. I just see it personally. We was going for him last summer, and it didn't work out. And I just think he would get bullied in the Premier League, but not as much as that Thuram would, or, you know, I can't say Paulinho or Rice, because they've already proven that they are the bullies, you know what I mean? I see de Jong getting bullied in the league, I'll be real. But there is one thing about de Jong that really intrigues me, is his technical ability is really good. His technical ability is really good. He's able to dribble out of tight corners. He can pick that final pass. He's got that, what's the word? He's already got his CV, if you know what I mean. He's already got his CV. He's a big player. A lot of people know of him. Yeah, he definitely deserves better than Barcelona. You know, Brocolona is what I call him. But also, I think if we go for de Jong and give him 50 to 70 million, you know, it's also hampered Barcelona. No, that's out those, man. Nah, I'm just not completely sold on de Jong. He wouldn't be anywhere near my first choice. But him and Thuram, you could put in different orders if you wanted to. But I just think de Jong has that one more better. He has that better technical ability, that better experience over Thuram. So that's why I put him ahead of Thuram on my list. So yeah, I'm actually intrigued what you all think about de Jong. Let me know in the comments down below, because it's very mixed opinions. A lot of us Chelsea fans like him, but some of us dislike him as well. It's very 50-50 in the fan base whenever he's been linked with our club. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you would think of de Jong as we move into number 3. So moving on to number 3, we're getting into the tough picks, the stable mates of the list, like the pretty certain ones. So as we move into number 3, my number 3 choice is Romeo Lavia. Now, Romeo Lavia obviously plays for Southampton, who have literally finished rock bottom of the Premier League. But you know, that Southampton team, it's the weirdest relegation, because they've beaten really good teams. They've beaten really good teams and drawn to really good teams, but they've lost to all the shitters. Do you know what I mean? They've lost all to the shitters. But they finished rock bottom, relegated. I wouldn't have had Southampton get relegated, but it's surprising. But there was one player in that whole Southampton side who's been a standout, who teams like, you know, Manchester City, who Lavia used to play for Man City, and he's obviously gone to Southampton. Man City have been looking at, Liverpool have been looking at, Chelsea have been looking at. You know, it just proves that he's a really, really great player, Romeo Lavia. He's a brilliant DM, and surprisingly, the only goal he got last season was against Chelsea. And funny enough, after that game, which was the first game we played against Southampton and lost 1-0. No, lost 2-1. We actually put in a 40 million bid in for Lavia, but Southampton turned it down. So we've already been for him once, but Southampton are the ones who turned it down. In 29 appearances, he's got 1 goal, 0 assists. So he's not a big goal scorer like the last two are. Lavia is a proper DM, you know. Proper DMs don't usually tend to get much goals and assists. But some do. But yeah, he is the youngest one on the list. He is 19 years old. Same age as me, bloody hell. You're looking at about 30 to 40 million for him. Maybe cheaper as well, you know, maybe 25 million. You won't get him for 20. but maybe 25 million because obviously, like I said, Southampton been relegated. Lavia will be pushing to get out of Southampton. He also makes, like I said, this could be successful. This could just be tackles per 90. He also makes 2.1 tackles per 90. Like I said, could be successful. I think these stats are successful tackles, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Lavia is somebody who, if you've actually watched my How to Rebuild Chelsea video, I think it was, Lavia's the DM I put in for us at that time, and this was like February, March time. February, maybe. Lavia was, at that time, my first choice. I was a big fan of Lavia. But now he is obviously slightly dropped down to on my list from first to third. Which isn't a bad thing because I think Romeo Lavia still has a long way to go as a player. Like I said, 19 still. You know, maybe if he is with Southampton in the Championship and he comes back up, maybe that'll be good for him because Southampton, the Championship is quite a tough league. Like I said, he's dropped down my list though. He's a very strong player, very physical. But going forward, he's not the greatest. I'll be honest. Going forward, he's not the greatest. Yeah, that's all I've really got to say on Lavia. Lavia could be probably the cheapest one on the list. So if we had to go for a second DM, I think I would probably choose Lavia if we had to go for a second DM off this list to back up whoever I would choose at first. So yeah, I'd probably choose Lavia as one of the backups. So yeah, moving on to number 2. Now we get into the tasty ones. Honestly, number 2 and number 1, you could pick either two. But in number 2, we have Manuel Ugarte. I think it's Manuel, but it's Ugarte, who currently at the moment plays for Sporting CP. If you don't know where Sporting CP is based, it's in Portugal. I think they've won the league this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think they have. Yeah, Ugarte is honestly a phenomenal player. I've seen some of his games. Again, I haven't watched the full 90, but I've seen some of the games. I've seen some clips off him and stuff like that. And this guy looks like a flipping good player. And out of all these players on the list, it looks like Ugarte is the most likely one to come to Chelsea. That's not one of the reasons why I put him at second as well. He would probably have been second or third on my list, even if Rice was at first. But, yeah, like I said, number 2 and number 1, you could pick either two and I'd be really, really happy with. Manuel Ugarte has Barcelona looking at him. That's a player that I was on about earlier. Ugarte, Barcelona looking at him, but Barcelona can't afford him, like I said. This season, he's played 31 appearances, 0 goals, 0 assists. So you can tell this guy's a stable mate, proper DM, you know what I mean? Remember John Obi Mikel? He never got any goals and assists. Never. But he was so good in that DM role. So good. As soon as Mikel would coming off the bench, you knew it was game over. Shop shut, game over. Ugarte, you know, you look at that and you probably think 0 goals, 0 assists. That's not, even at a DM standard, that's maybe not good enough. I'm not too bothered about that because obviously he's a DM. But I'm just saying, if people are like, you know, he doesn't get much goals and assists, much contributions. But going forward, Manuel Ugarte is actually a really good player. He's got good dribbling technique. Technically, he's good on the ball. I think he does have some assists, but that's in like cup competitions. But I didn't put that down. You know, he's got an eye for a pass as well. He just doesn't get much goals and assists. Like I said, that doesn't really bother me much because he's in the DM role. All I care about is the defensive part. And I've already said going forward, he's actually all right. You know, his dribbling kind of reminds me of Kovacic in a way. You know, he's able to beat presses really well, very, very well. But his defensive stats, I've checked the season, are through the roof compared to his offensive. Through the roof. He's unreal defensively. You know, like I said, 31 appearances, 0 goals, 0 assists. Who cares? He makes 3.8 tackles per 90. So you're looking at about four tackles. Maybe successful. Like I said, it could be successful. A lot of people compared him to Kante, the way he swamps around the whole pitch. I wouldn't say he's like Kante. I'm not even joking when I say this. I'd probably say he's, out of all the DMs we've had, he's probably like, I want to say Matic. I want to say he's like a Matic in a way, you know. He just gets stuck in, you know. I think personally Ugarte would be the perfect partner next to Enzo Fernandez, you know. Enzo Fernandez was at Benfica. Ugarte was at Sporting. Both played for Portugal teams. Both were in Portugal this season. That South American core we're going to have. I can't wait for it. I'm so excited for it. Like I said, 3.8 tackles per 90 could be successful. He's got £51 million release clause, which Chelsea have at the moment. I'm going to technically bring in news into this right now, which I haven't given you guys yet. But Chelsea are currently apparently leading the race for Ugarte, and Ugarte wants the Premier League move. It's only at the moment between Chelsea and PSG for Ugarte. And Ugarte apparently doesn't want anything to do with the League One club. Apparently he wants to move to the Premier League, and him and Chelsea are in concrete talks. Apparently this is a very likely deal, and I'd be all over for this. I would like this. You know, he's 22 years old as well. There's one thing a lot of people have been saying about, you know, players this summer, getting in players this summer with leadership. Ugarte, you maybe look at that and go, 22 years old, he's not a leader, you know. No, this guy, I think he's captained, I think he's from Uruguay, if I'm not mistaken. But whoever he represents for his country, for like the under-19s and under-20s at the time, he has been captain. He's very vocal on the pitch. So yeah, I would 100% be all over Ugarte, without a doubt. And like I said, I think he'd be the perfect partner next to Enzo Fernandez. I really do think that. So yeah, like I said, this one is the most likely one out of the lot, but it isn't my first choice. But you could choose between one or two, and I wouldn't care. Honestly, I really wouldn't care. So yeah, and then heading in at the number one spot, the player that I slightly a little bit prefer over Ugarte, simply because, like I'm about to say his name, he has Premier League experience. Moses Caicedo, one of the two. I'm really bad at pronouncing names, so I apologise about that. But I know it's Caicedo. Brighton player, arguably probably one of Brighton's best players, along with McAllister. And this player has been brilliant. And this is a player I think if Chelsea got, he would remind me of Makelele. He would remind me straight away of Makelele. A lot of people think that Caicedo plays a bit like Kante as well. A lot of people have been saying that as well. Again, this is two different types of players. Actually, Caicedo stays back more than Kante goes forward. Kante goes more forward. Caicedo usually stays more back. That's what I'm saying. Caicedo reminds me quite like Makelele in that type of person where he just sweeps the pitch. Proper DM. Gets stuck in. Actually, he has less tackles or successful tackles per 90 than Ugarte. Caicedo has 2.7 tackles per 90. Like I said, again, I'm going to go through it again. Could be successful. But with Caicedo, you're looking at about 60 to 75 million pounds. Maybe even 80 million. Brighton will demand a high fee because he's one of their best players. He has the Prem experience. He knows what the Premier League's about. You know, 37 appearances this season, so he only missed one game. 1 goal, 1 assist. He got 1 assist against us at Brighton's ground. He's 21 years old, so he's a year younger than Ugarte. And like I said, the only down thing to it is 60 to 75 million pounds. He's going to cost a lot of money. Brighton, I think Brighton's manager has already said he's expecting McAllister and Caicedo to both leave the club this summer. He's expecting them not to be there. I would be all over Caicedo, absolutely. Like I would be all over Ugarte as well. Like I said, number 1 and 2, you could pick any one, and I would say hell yes to. Hell yes. Caicedo, again, another player who I think complements Enzo Fernandez to a T. I think a lot of people would be more over Caicedo than Ugarte simply because Brighton have had probably their best season ever in the Premier League. Probably best season ever in general. And Caicedo has played a big part of that, you know, in that Brighton squad. We all know Caicedo does want a bigger challenge, a bigger club to come in for him. He wanted the move in January, it didn't work, and Chelsea was after him at that time as well. Maybe Chelsea going for him again. I'm hearing stuff about apparently we could go for both Caicedo or Ugarte. I'm not 100% on that because I feel like if Caicedo's your starter and then Ugarte's your, you know, backup, I feel like Ugarte's not going to be too happy. Or if Ugarte's your starter and Caicedo's your backup, Caicedo ain't going to be too happy. One of them will leave after a year. You know what I mean? So you would need a much more younger player who's not been at a top club but is a top player to be your backup to either a Caicedo or a Ugarte. And I think that's where you bring into like your Romeo Lavia at that example. But yeah, Caicedo definitely offensively is better than Ugarte, but I think Ugarte defensively is way better than Caicedo. But I think if you're talking about who's got the better balance, it's different because Caicedo offers you, if you're talking about offensively, Caicedo offers you different things to Ugarte, but Ugarte offers you different things to Caicedo. Like, Caicedo isn't really a great dribbler, but his eye for a pass is better than Ugarte's, where Ugarte is a better dribbler, able to get out of presses. His press resistant Ugarte's press resistance is better than Caicedo's. Caicedo is more likely to get caught up in that type of moment, whereas Caicedo offensively, you know, making that final pass for an assist is way better than Ugarte. You know, they offer you different things, but I think if you was to ask me, you know, who I'd want out of the two, just that little bit more, I think I'd just about edge it to Caicedo for Prem experience. That's it. Because defensively, for a DM, Ugarte's better, you know. And Caicedo could play centre mid or DM. He's more of a DM, obviously, than a centre mid. But you can put him in that centre mid role and do the Kante role as a box-to-box. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, they both offer you different things. But yeah, that's my top 5 list for the DM position for Chelsea next season. That's my favourites. Let me know in the comments down below what your top 5 would be. It doesn't have to be my type of players. You know, name some off, and I'd love to communicate with you guys in the comments down below to see what you guys have got for your top 5 as well. It'd be very interesting. So yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you've all enjoyed. Like I said, a striker one will be coming maybe next week, next Monday probably. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. A lot of news videos will be dropping because, like I said, summer transfer window is coming. There's going to be a lot of news videos coming for Chelsea. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a video. And yeah, like and subscribe. Take care all. And yeah, let's see who Chelsea buy in for that DM position in the summer. So I can't wait to see, because we needed this position. So yeah, take care all. I'll see you then. Peace.